LSU fell to Kentucky. Is that a red flag or just SEC basketball? Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
We're starting off the new year with an LSU L. They fell to Kentucky in a very exciting game, 80-78. But the question remains, is it time to panic? Is this a red flag or is this plain old SEC basketball? What say you, Mr. Franklin?
Well, no, it's not time to panic. This is, good basketball, Natalie Franklin. This is good, and I'm Gregory Franklin, by the way, so I already will know. It's good basketball. Kentucky played well. They were well prepared, in my opinion. That was the game. They were well prepared.
Exactly. And welcome to Club Hoops Podcast. We'll be diving into this game and what worked, what didn't work, what questions we still have after the end of this game. But I am Natalie Franklin.
And I am Gregory Franklin.
Yes. So thank you. Thank you. We did an episode, our last episode talked about how this will be the stretch of games the LSU have will be the first time they've been really tested this season. As a refresher, we talked about how LSU hasn't really had a strong schedule. The lack of strength in the schedule. And that is deliberate by Kim Mulkey, the coach. She said she's trying to build chemistry. She's trying to build confidence. She's trying to see what she has. She's trying to let the freshmen kind of work on their game before they're thrown in SEC play. And so last night, on the 1st of January, 2026, they played Kentucky. They did not come up with a win, but I will say, I expected them to win. However, I didn't expect them to blow them out. Kentucky scores around, I think I said this. What did I say last time? Around 81?
81 points.
81 points. They hit their average. They scored 80. Now, the Tigers obviously have been averaging 108 points this season, but again, they're not playing the strongest opponents, and they scored 78 last night. Yeah. Shout out to Kentucky's defense. What did you see in this game? Anything that you liked? Anything you didn't like?
So let me first start by saying this. I heard the end of the game presser, the Kentucky coach speak, and he talked about their preparation for that game. And I saw, and in his conversation, he talked about the fact that he had heard Kim Mulkey say that they have a few players that had never played in the SEC before. They weren't used to that SEC physicality. They weren't used to that SEC, pace and the dynamics that the SEC brings. And the coach, it sounded to me like he prepared his team exceptionally well. What I saw was a Kentucky team that was determined to play their game and not LSU play theirs. They disrupted tempo. They controlled the boards. They also played tremendous, man-to-man defense. They played their game. When Kentucky tried to even get out and run, they just weren't having a good shooting night. And they couldn't run efficient. I'm sorry. When LSU tried to get out and run, they weren't having a good shooting night. And they tried to get out and outrun Kentucky. But Kentucky was very disciplined. They stuck to their game plan, it seems to me, after hearing the coach talk. He challenged those players who weren't evidently used to physicality, because the game did get a little physical, particularly in the paint. So I think that LSU played an opponent that was exceptionally prepared. And then LSU, on the other hand, didn't respond to that preparation, or maybe they tried to, I don't know. But it looked like they didn't respond to that preparation and that change in game, and that's when the problems started to occur. Now, they weren't major problems because it was a tight game, neck and neck. But LSU could not get out and run and get that 108-point average that they were getting prior to coming into this game. That's what I said.
Yeah, I think you're spot on, and it's like what we discussed last episode with where I said I think they'll win and I think they're a good team. However, they've never had to play from behind and they've never had to create separation with the team. And I think what you're kind of getting at is LSU did not know how to create separation
That's
with
right.
Kentucky. They didn't
That's
know how to they stayed neck and neck, but they couldn't figure out how to pull away. If they did, get on a little run or maybe go up a couple points, they would go down the other end of the floor and not really defend that well or foul, right?
right. Right.
Um, I think they also lost this game on rebounds because, again, like you said, there's not big problems here. LSU shot for 50% from the
That's
field,
right. Yeah. No,
like,
not at all. They're not problems. You just
right?
played
But
it.
that rebounding is a problem. Those second chance points they gave up to Kentucky. That's the huge problem. If
And
you
re-
had to look at anything to fix, that would be it.
and remember, Kentucky is the second longest team height wise. When I say long, length in the SEC, probably in all of women's basketball, behind South Carolina.
Right,
So their average height on that team is 6'2". And so you've got some length there that you have to try to get past, shoot over. But they presented that problem from the first quarter all the way to the fourth.
right. They had one player, Tioni Key, that had 16 rebounds alone. Her alone, just 16 rebounds. And I think Kim Mulkey even noted this. They just weren't putting a body on someone. Like when that ball goes up, you're supposed to find a person, put a body on them, and prepare to rebound. And I think they were just, I mean, obviously, like you said, the height advantage is huge, but they just were not boxing out. They couldn't get a rebound. And that's how they were unable to really, like I said, create separation, make sure they won this game. I think another thing I noticed with LSU, their defense, their man-to-man defense, they're like a half a step behind, right? Like there's a little too much space. It's kind of how this game ended with the last shot. Not to skip ahead a bit, but they had a last shot buzzer beater type thing. She had way too much space. It didn't
Yeah.
seem like it was a difficult shot to get off. Like you said, it's the coach was prepared exactly how he drew it up. She shot it at the exact time he wanted her to shoot it. He didn't want her to leave any time on the clock. And they were able to win. And I think, again, a great learning experience for LSU. It's like the defense, especially when you play SEC basketball, because that's where all the talent is. You've got to play a little tighter,
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
Kentucky played LSU, right? Like
That's
you were
right.
talking
That's
about
right.
with how they were prepared.
Well, I'll also add in there. I mean, Tony Morgan played an exceptionally good game, right? Great
Yes,
game,
shout out
right?
to her.
And I would say you mentioned Key. Key only averages 5 rebounds a game. She had 16 during this game, right? 16. So I think Kentucky can again, they came in with their game plan because they hit their average. They hit their
Yes,
average points per game. They excelled on defense and excelled on the boards, and they remained composed because you're playing the number 5 team in the country, LSU, and they weren't intimidated and they played them tight all the way through. What I would have liked to have seen, just kind of bouncing around a little bit on that last shot that Tony Morgan had took, I would have liked to seen the spacing, get up, get up on her a little bit, right?
yeah,
Get
yeah,
get in her jersey a little bit without fouling if you can, and challenge her more. She was able to pull up, pretty much stress free, in my opinion, and certainly release that shot. So I again, LSU should not panic.
yeah,
Don't panic for sure, but just understand, the missteps that occurred, during this particular game against what I'm going to say it was a very good Kentucky team, a
yeah.
very
And
good
shout out,
team.
sorry, and shout out to Toni Morgan. She's the one that hit the game winner
That's right.
for Kentucky. Um, yeah, I like it's hard to talk about this game because I just want oh, actually I want to remind people why I started off reminding everyone about the purpose of the soft schedule, if you will, is not so much to prepare for SEC play, but is to make sure your confidence is intact. And then I think what Kim does is now she uses games like this to really see where we are and what needs to be fixed. I think those games, I'm not going to say she treats them like scrimmages because I don't want to be like that condescending to
Yeah.
everyone involved, but she treats those games as you just need play. We're just gonna get you
Yeah.
guys in
Yeah.
the rhythm of playing. And then I think the SEC game she uses as a measuring sticks. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well now I know y'all need help playing man-to-man defense. Now I know you guys need to work on rebounding. Or
Yeah.
now I know, Flauj, you've got to get going a little bit sooner for us to like really, again, create separation from teams, right? So it's not so neck and neck all the time. Or like, where can I find our edge? But yeah, I'm gonna echo you. No need to panic.
I mean,
I don't even take this opportunity to clown LSU and give a I told you so, because in my opinion, they never came out and said we're the best team out here and we're gonna smash everybody, right? I think it's just I it's so lopsided between UConn and everybody else. And I
yeah.
think
Yeah.
because UConn is just way up here, everyone's getting almost residual critique. Like if you lose a game, people are like, ah, you know what I mean? But this is just, you're going to lose some games, you're going to win some games. It's all about who's going to win the natty at the end of the day.
Yeah.
At the
I will say this though, for Kentucky, I'm feeling pretty good this morning because I took a racehorse of a team, which is LSU. I put them in a box so they play at our tempo. I controlled, the boards throughout the game. And here's the deal. Kentucky is bigger and longer, but LSU was faster. So when speed meets, size, you gotta it's a coin flip in terms of who's gonna turn out on top. But turn up on top. But here's the deal. Kentucky managed that. Now, the game was close all the way to the end, but Kentucky managed that speed. They
yeah,
they managed they managed that throughout the entire game. Yeah, they almost lost. They had to win on the last second shot. But when you're playing a good team, those things happen. So
yeah.
I'm Kentucky. I am feeling very, very good this morning.
Yeah, especially because this technically and is upset for them. They're number 11. LSU is number 5. So you're feeling good about your 2026.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right. I want to talk about MiLaysia Fulwiley. Love her down. However, but well, let me first start with the positive.
I'm
I
a
had watched I watched her play with LSU, and I said, "Oh, she seems like she's fitting into the system over there. She's smart. She's having a good time. This is gonna work out. This is where she needs to be." Now, again, this was the first like highly competitive team they've played this season, and I saw the MiLaysia Fulwiley from South Carolina come back out. There's just something about when she has to play, excuse me, when she plays a highly competitive team or a team with equal talent to hers, she cannot perform. She's not effective. She can't execute. And before people are like, it's just one game. Yes, it's one game in this season. This is her third year playing SEC basketball. I'm starting to see there's been no improvement. Obviously, room to improve. I'm not saying she'll never improve, but the question is, when is she going to turn the corner? When is it going to click? I mean, she had first of all, she had 16 minutes, and in those 16 minutes, I'll read her stats: 2 points, 1 for 6 shooting, 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 turnover, and 3 fouls. That's terrible.
Yeah,
I
I get
think
it.
for
That's like
me, and it's a lot of what Dawn Staley talked about, right? How do you allow MiLaysia Fulwiley to play her game, right? We love the showtime. We
yeah,
love behind the back. We love that style. But how do you get her to also balance that with playing in control and being efficient on the floor? Like if this was an and one mixtape game, great. Harlem Globetrotters, absolutely. But when we're trying to win a game, girl, I need you to put the ball in the basket. She blew like 50 layups. There was one play, she got the rebound, went all the way down to the other end, and just dribbled out of bounds.
yeah,
I was like, "What? You
yeah,
can just slow
yeah.
down, stop, and pass it."
Yeah.
Kim Mulkey's face, though, by the way, when she did, Kim was like, "Oh my god, what are you doing?" It was so funny. It's just she cannot play in control. I don't know if she gets too excited or if she panics or she gets nervous, but this is her third year in SEC basketball. And I'm just wondering if and when she will turn the corner and be like, okay, I need to put it together. Because again, just like Dawn Staley, Kim wants her to play point guard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kim's asking her to do all the things Dawn asked her to do. So there's
Yeah. Yeah.
no huge
Yeah.
difference. It's a different system, yes, but at the end of the day, she just cannot play in control when it matters. What are your thoughts on MiLaysia Fulwiley? By the way, South Carolina transfer. I don't know if I said that, but
Yeah,
what are
yeah.
your
So first of all, you're 100% correct, in your assessment and analysis of what you saw yesterday. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, even on that last play with point 0.5 seconds left, she was the person inbounding the ball, and the ball was touched by a Kentucky player, and that's when, the clock, it's 1.5 seconds. The clock started running, and there was no opportunity to get a shot up. So I here's my thing. There was a lot of hype about her at South Carolina. Dawn wasn't playing her in a way that she felt she should be played. We have to look back at Dawn, maybe make a phone call and say, "Hey, okay, Dawn, I think you might have seen something." But clearly, her development isn't what it's been advertised to be, because she didn't have a game yesterday that matched that hype.
Mhm.
And whether or not that's what Kim has been seeing in practice all this time, and this is why, one, she doesn't start, she does come off the bench and play and all that good stuff. But maybe this is the development that Dawn had seen, and this is what Kim is seeing as well. And the player that we're seeing that's up and down in her performance is the player that she is. And in which case, then there has to be, on Kim's part, there has to be some changes made, okay, in regards to how she relies on her at certain points during a game.
Right.
We'll definitely see in the next few games whether or not, Kim still has faith in her to perform when she needs her to perform. But yesterday was not something indicative of how they've talked about her for the past 3 years and how they talked about her upon transfer to LSU.
Yeah. And even the basketball IQ goes out the window when like it was seconds before the half is ending. First of all, let me back up the play before that. She came down, missed the layup. The girl who got the rebound off her layup, she fouls her for I mean, just a real ridiculous foul. Okay, now you have two fouls in the second. Kim leaves her in because the half is about to end. Whatever, seconds before the half ends, she fouls again. So now you're going in to
I
the
saw that.
fourth with
Yeah.
three fouls. Think. Why are you fouling with before the half ends and you have two fouls? And I get it, you're playing defense, but be mindful. I have two fouls. This half is about to end. Let me make sure I end this half with two fouls. So it's just stuff like that. I think, with South Carolina, yeah, she struggled. She had some frustrations, but I think that program and fan base really believed in her.
They
And I
did.
think when we interviewed friend of the show, Captain Will from Gamecock Talks, he even discussed how at LSU it's different because LSU is Flauja's team. Like that's who they're loyal to. That's who they're dedicated to. Yes, they probably like MiLaysia Fulwiley, but you see how quickly they turned on Haley Van Leith when she couldn't guard Caitlin Clark. She had turned comments off. And I fear that with Malaysia, if she doesn't improve or she doesn't contribute in a, 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 a critical way to the team, that fan base will turn on her. And my biggest fear, which we'll come to realize, she'll have to transfer again or transfer back to South Carolina. Like, and I get it. She's third year. She's still trying to find out how she fits in. And I really think she's still trying to find her identity as a player. Like I said, all that flashy stuff is great. We got Chelsea Gray, for example. Chelsea Gray will throw a pass or, well, more than a pass or two, but Chelsea Gray is Showtime too. But at the same time, Chelsea Gray is a bucket. Chelsea Gray is a great ball handler. Chelsea Gray has a great basketball IQ. And that's where MiLaysia is trying to get to. Just to your point, when does that happen? Where is the development? Or how I said earlier, when do we turn that corner where we see you developing into an actual basketball player, right? Because you're not a starter. And I don't want to hear that anymore. I don't want to hear nothing about you're not a starter. But if you're going to come off the bench, help the team coming off the bench.
But you hit on a key point about LSU and the fan base in particular, but also LSU, the program. They don't tolerate inefficiency and non-performance very well in that program. They'll give you the opportunity to perform. They'll give you, the benefit of the doubt. You had a bad game yesterday against Kentucky. Oh, it'll be all right. Let's see what you do. But
Yeah,
they won't hesitate to take minutes from her. The program folks, Kim in particular, the coach, they won't hesitate to take minutes from her. The fan base, they just don't tolerate losing well. They
yeah,
don't. And they need everyone to be thinking how the LSU fan thinks, and that is we're gonna go undefeated the whole season. We need to win every game. And there's nothing wrong with that thinking, by the way, because you got to have confidence in yourself. Now, will MiLaysia Fulwiley take this as I need to do more work? I need to develop, or will she take it as I am who I am and this is how I play and blah 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 blah. That
yeah,
kind of position. That remains to be seen as well. But you're in a program now, not that South Carolina wasn't, but you're in a program where winning is beyond an expectation. Well
right. That's
beyond
the
an
culture. Yeah,
Yeah, it's well beyond an expectation. It's like a foregone conclusion. We win.
right,
We win. South Carolina had the same situation. We win. And the coaches, because Dawn has been at South Carolina for a while, Kim has been at LSU for a while, and the coaches have totally bought into we win. We
right.
win. So she's got some either some work to do or some realizations to face.
Right.
Or
And to
both.
be honest, other players like Koval didn't have a great game because she was just in foul trouble and unable to really guard efficiently as well. But we focused on MiLaysia Fulwiley because she was the big transfer, right? The big
Yep.
story. And it was it was supposedly Dawn was the problem and South Carolina was the problem. But here we are in SEC play, and it's the same MiLaysia Fulwiley. So it's now I'm scratching my head like who's the common
Yep.
denominator is
Yep.
Malaysia. So what's going on? It'll be interesting to see if she makes some adjustments, or like you said, or if Kim makes some adjustments,
Yeah.
right? Cut down the minute. Because she got Kim doing this on the sideline. Oh, she had her hot.
Well,
She about if someone said she's about to meet the real Kim in a
Well,
minute.
if Malaysia Fulwiley is the player that she's been advertised to be and that she's shown, glimpses of, she will take this game, this Kentucky game, personally and say, next game, I'm turning it up.
Yeah.
I'm going to be 120 times better than what I was for the Kentucky game. She's going to put that pressure on herself the next game if she's
Mhm.
the person that's been advertised to us.
Right.
So the next game will definitely be a wait and see game and something that we should be watching very closely. So
Exactly. So shout out to Kentucky, big win for the team, the coach. Congratulations! But that wasn't the only upset yesterday. It was a day of upset. Maryland fell to Illinois. Notre Dame lost to Georgia Tech. Notre Dame. I, I don't know if Notre Dame should be ranked anymore. I'm going to be very honest. Hannah Hidalgo, I feel like when that season ends, she's going to have to make some decisions. Is she going to stay loyal to Notre Dame or get in that transfer portal? Michigan lost to Washington. Michigan just got ran.
got ran.
There was just too much of what's her name? Howell. What's her first name? On Washington, the USC transfer.
Don't know the
I
first.
can't think of her name right now, but she went off. Avery Howe. She went off for them. So yeah, there were about let's see, four upsets yesterday. So
Yep.
LSU was in great company.
It was a welcome to 2026 moment for some teams.
It really was. But it was good basketball on New Year's Day.
Basketball.
If you got to watch some of it, hope you enjoyed it. I had a great time just in the bed. They call it bed rotting, Dad. That's the new term when you're just in bed all day.
Rotting. What? Bed rotting.
Bed rotting. Just some bed rotting and watching basketball. It was amazing.
Okay.
There's gonna be some great basketball on this weekend as well. So we'll talk about that on Monday. Daddy, before we get out of here, anything else you'd like to add? Oh, you know what we should talk about real quick?
Well,
The coach for the football coach
Lane
that
Kiffin.
came out before the game.
Look, I'm
Probably why they lost. I'm just kidding.
I'm a SC fan, and I know we fired, SC fired Lane on the tarmac, when he was there. I appreciate Lane Kiffin, I do, but to bring him out to start the game, Kim's holding his hand, let me introduce
Hand
you
in
to
hand.
Lane Kiffin. I That was a bit much for me. That was a bit much for me. I'm like, I hope Lane has done well at Ole Miss. I hope he does well at LSU for, because you're talking about a rabid fan base, that football fan base.
Yeah.
I hope he does well because the pressure is on. But I didn't think bringing him out was necessary. And that's not just me hating on him because he was at USC at one time. We had to let him go. But anyway.
They like the theatrics over there
Oh, yeah.
Kim's entrance is a big deal, and so she walked them out.
Yeah.
And so they like the drama. But yeah, that's funny. But I just wanted to touch on that really quickly. But
Okay.
anyway, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and comment. Do you think LSU should be panicking? Is MiLaysia Fulwiley going back in that transfer portal? Is it too early to tell? Just tell us what you think about this game overall. And we will talk to you guys next time. Okay, bye.
Folks.